I am bringing you a baby layout. The last couple of layouts have been mixed media heavy, and they've been bright and bold and all that sort of stuff. So I'm switching it up, and we are having a nice pastel shade. It's not really pastel. Anyway, okay, over processing. Right, so you can see the papers there that I'm using, which is the Paper Boutique Perfect Partners in Dusky Pink. Now, this is an 8x8 paper pad, and I bought one just as a see if I like it, see if I like the size, can I make it work on a 12x12 layout. And I have used this paper within an inch of its life. I absolutely love the colours. I prefer this sort of dusky pink to a pastel pink when I can get it. So what am I doing here? This is where when you have leftovers, okay, and you don't really know what to do with them and how are you going to use them on a 12x12 layout, blah, 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 right? So yes, I'm cutting up one 8x8 sheet, and the rest of this I use, I went to cut that one up and then realised, hang on, do I really need to cut them all up? Probably not. So what I'm doing is I'm scoring them on my scoreboard, which I have a We Are Memories Keepers 12x12 scoreboard, and I do the inches closest to me. That way I stay out of the way of the camera. Now, if you want to know what I scored the pink papers on, because later I score some white ones. So I'm actually going to put where I scored them. And this fits on my 11.5 by 12 inch page. So, it's all right, I scored the wrong spot there. So I just flipped it over and gently encouraged the paper back to where it should be. And you don't even notice it. So I'm just writing down here where the numbers that I actually scored it, in case that's something that you might be one of those people that scrapbook and you like to know numbers. I hate measuring personally, but sometimes when I do something like this, it's really easy for me to just write the numbers down, and then that way I can put it in the description, and if you want to copy those numbers or adjust them to your liking, go for it. So what I'm trying to create here is a pleat. Simple pleat. So I'm scoring every 1 inch, then half inch, 1 inch, half inch. That's what I did on this particular set. Now I do something slightly different after I do this. So I'm trying to figure out, and of course out comes my trusty art glitter glue. Now I do show you how I join these together on the side. See how I'm just joining them like that? I'm actually pushing the one in my right hand, butting it right up in the groove on the left hand side. So this is where I realise I actually need one more. Damn it. But that's okay. I had an extra one scored, so I did that. But then I still have to pull out one more for the other side, because I have OCD and I hate things not being even. So this is what I'm doing. So I just need to cut one more. So I did pull that other piece of paper. For some reason in the dusky pink pack that I've got there, I've got about 4 sheets of paper that are still 8x8. So that worked in perfectly. That is why I chose the little flowers. Purely because I had enough of it to be able to create this look. Now, what else can I tell you? I'm only scrapbooking 2 photos. This background sheet that you can see right at the minute, that I'm attaching this to. Now, if you watch how I do this, it is so easy to get this on here perfectly straight and sat down, not a drama. And it is locked and loaded and it will not move. It's all good. So then I jumped over the other side. Now, when you do that, just be mindful that you want it to flow like a waterfall on both sides going downhill, because I did realise at that point that I probably need to say that, because I can imagine some people would accidentally put it up the wrong way. Now, the background piece of paper that I'm using is a 12 by 12 from the P13 Four Seasons Spring number 3 paper. Now, I don't have very much of that paper left because I made an 8 by 8 mini album with it. But I did manage to have one sheet of this left. So it was the perfect one to use. I did go through my CM ones. Okay, here we go. This is going to explain how much my brain hates measuring. I have a left and I have a right arrow. Okay. The reason I'm doing that is because, okay, now I have the left on the left and the right on the right. Okay. You can have a laugh now. So that top sheet is going to fold towards the left. The other one is going to fold towards the right. See? It's going towards the right. Now when I fold the other one, see it's going the other direction, and that gives me a ribbon look. So that's something that I love the look of, and I don't think I've ever seen someone actually explain it. It's probably out there 700 times, but the people that I watch, the people that I follow, they don't really do that sort of thing. So I thought I'd show you how to do that and let me do it. I was going to go with milled lavender in the distress ink, and then I realised that this would probably be better if I use the distress oxide in milled lavender. Now, I do juice this right up because I'm using my big foam blender rather than my little finger daubers that I use because I wanted to get it done quickly. I have an appointment later and I wanted to see if I could get it done. Okay, so last couple of days I've used my Cricut, my electronic cutting machine. So today I'm using my manual die cut machine. Now, believe it or not, I bought this Bose die. It's called, let me see what it's called. It is called the Paper Rose Metal Die 16700 Metal Make a Bow Die is what it's called. I will put that all below if you want to see it. Now, I cut out all 3 pieces because I wasn't really sure if I wanted a bigger bow or a smaller bow. To be completely truthful with you, I don't think I've ever even used this die. So I think this is the first time I've used it. Always wanted a bow die. Bow die, not a bow tie. Okay, I'll get off my sick little personality there. Okay, so I think I like the big die. I think that's going to work. Okay, so now I'm pulling it apart again because I just put tape on it. Now, we all know that tape over time, it can fall apart. So I decided to come back with my ink dauber and I'm just doing in here. Now I'm showing you. See, fold it like that and you can get right into the corner with the big dauber. You don't crease it, you just fold it. And it gets right in there and it's awesome. And then I'm just gluing it all together because I know once I use this art glitter glue, she ain't moving for no one, baby. Now, this is where so these are my 2 photos that I'm using. I didn't want a border that went all the way around with the pleats. I thought that would look way too heavy. Now, I'm using, instead of my tracing paper, I did find a little offcut of Creative Memories vellum. And I thought, oh, it's a little piece, that'll do. I'll use that today instead. So, I'm sure they still sell it. I haven't looked, to be honest. Let me have a look. Now, okay, so I knew I wanted my 2 photos. I'm just committing to where they're going. That's it, full stop, done. So that I can put the bow and its ribbon on there. So it's this simple and it looks so effective on the bottom. I put that piece of paper on the bottom just to make sure my ribbon lines up perfectly going across. And then I add the glue to make sure the bow doesn't move. And now, yes, the bow is 3-dimensional at this stage and I love it, but I'm not delusional. As soon as I put it into my album, it's going to flatten out and that is perfectly okay because it's still going to look like a bow and it's still going to look beautiful and it's, yeah, it totally suits my baby layout. Now, it's at this point that I went around the very edge with the ink. And that was good, but it wasn't quite giving me the full border effect. The milled lavender, there's not really another colour after that that's, because the Victorian velvet is more, it's got more pink in it, more of a rose colour. So I went with it, but then I ended up right at the very end. I went through my pens and I pulled out Creative Memories. What was it? It was a round tip pastel pen in pink, just to do a line at the top and a line at the bottom, and it it worked perfectly, and it sealed it up. It just felt like the top of the page was still open. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I am using my SIZZIX THINLET's ABC dies. There is a number. I will link it in the description. I will link it. Why do I keep saying I will link it in the description? I will write it in the description, and if you choose to source it from wherever you are in the world, you know exactly the one that I used. Now that I've corrected myself, now this, ignore how the letters are sitting, okay? I bought the magnetic plate for my Spellbinders platinum die machine. I'll get my words together. It's okay. It's lunchtime. So I bought the magnetic one. It is awesome. Things don't move, but it does my head in a little bit because the letters will kind of, they go on, but they don't sit perfectly straight because obviously it's metal. Duh. It's not going to do that. But it works. It works a treat. It holds them where you want them. I'm just still working out my, do I put them underneath? Do I put them on top? Do I put them on top of the thing? Yeah. I get it in the end and it works out. I definitely prefer the magnetic plate to the other one because it keeps all my, when I use the really tiny dies, it keeps them all on there. I don't have the fear that I'm going to accidentally knock one off my desk into the bin. I'm pretty anal about putting it back on the magnetic mat as soon as I'm finished with it. Like before I continue scrapping, I do it. It's just a habit I'm getting myself into because dies are expensive. Like sometimes they're expensive, and especially for a letter die like this, to shell out, you can see there, I'm putting it back onto the metal mat straight away so I don't accidentally misplace the last Y or the last L because I've lost them or whatever. I absolutely love them. They definitely have a place in my craft room. For years, I always thought, that's insane. Who would spend $30 on a die set? That's crazy. Now I've got it. Now I've made the investment, and I don't have heaps and heaps of different letters because if I want to do something like that, I'll jump on my Cricut. What I have for my die set, for my manual die cutting machine, I have the basic letter formations that are clear. You can read them crystal clear. And what I did with these ones is I used the dotted paper that I used in the bow down below, and I attached it to a piece of craft foam. It's only 2mm thick, and it went through the die cut machine beautifully. And all I have to do, so now I've created a foam thicker, but it matches perfectly to the bow paper down the bottom. So that way I'm able to use it. It's not as heavy at the top because it's in letters, but it ties in with the bow at the bottom. No pun intended. Boom, boom. I'm on fire this afternoon. Okay, so I'm on fire because you know why? I have to tell you this. Kids in Queensland have a pupil free day tomorrow. Okay, when this video goes up, it was yesterday. But I'm doing this video and my kids are getting an extra day at home with me, and I absolutely love that. I love the fact that my kids get to spend time with me, and they're home, and I absolutely love spending time with my kids and my family. So when they're home, I'm really happy about it. So I got to tell you, I got a bit of a pep in my step today, because on Monday I didn't even know that Friday was a public holiday. But it's not a public holiday. It's a student free day. And I absolutely love when that happens. It's so makes me happy. You would think I'd just homeschool my kids, but that's not what we want to do. Now, what I'm looking at, it's bothering me that the very top, it feels like the letters are going to fall off. I know that sounds stupid, but that's how my brain works. So it feels a little bit off. Now, what I decided to do, and I knew this right from the beginning, I wanted, in these little flowers, I wanted to go through and I wanted to add a diamante in between, in the center of all the flowers. Now, because they're folded, it's not a pattern as such, but it's adding some bling to the page. Now, a little secret that I have, and I'm showing it to you here. I know this looks really, really difficult. That's because my hands are really, really hurting today. It's not as hard as you think. What I do is, when I go a little on the side secret, see these little diamantes, they're all stuck in a circle shape. And if I wanted to peel that whole circle off and put it on there, it is perfect. It sticks and it will never move. But what I do is, when I see these things for sale in any of my stores that I go to, and they're like $2, I pick them up. It's not because I want the circle full of dies, it's because I want the diamantes off it. So I peel them off, and then I use them as my scatter bling is what I use them for. And because I love shine, I love sparkle, I love gloss on my pages. But sometimes, like on this page, you don't want, for example, a video that I did, I think it went up today. That one is mixed media. The whole thing's mixed media, and it's got, I used the Ranger's glitter gel, and I think it was Nebula or Moonstar, whichever one it was. Anyway, I wiped that over the whole thing, and that's not what this page calls for. Sometimes I like that full-on crazy woo wow in your face, and sometimes I like it to be more subtle. So I buy it this way, and it is dirt cheap. It takes a little bit of fiddling to get it off there, but you know what? It works for me. Now, this is where I decided to come in and just do, I don't even do a solid line. I sort of lift my pen as I'm going along. I keep my hands straight, my arms straight. That's the secret of getting these lines straight. And it just gives me the border. And as soon as I did that, I was happy because it was slightly darker. So this is the end. I'm about to do close-ups for you. I will have everything written in the description below. So if you choose to duplicate anything, you can use my numbers. Failing that, you can search for different things that I've used. And here is the close-up, and down there's where I'm doing my journaling. So that's why that pocket's empty. I know it looks a little odd, but I do my journaling afterwards. So here is my close-up. If you enjoyed the video, I would love you to hit the like button. Let me know where you're watching from. That is always interesting to me. And I also would like to let you know I'm going to do a bonus video this week on Sunday for Father's Day. So there will be one going up on Sunday as well. So enjoy, like, subscribe, share my page, let everyone know. And my Facebook group is down below if you want to join. Okay, catch you later, guys. Bye.